Why does the house still smell a little off, even after it has been cleaned? The floors are mopped. The trash is out. A candle may be burning on the table. And yet, there is a lingering scent, something that feels stuck in the air. Many older adults notice it, but do not always know what to do. It is not about being unclean. It is about small places where smells quietly settle, corners, fabrics, air that does not move, habits that have been the same for years. This video explores 7 hidden smell traps that may be making a clean home feel stale. Each one comes with a gentle way to fix it. No harsh sprays, no scrubbing on hands and knees. Just a few simple actions that bring back a sense of calm and freshness. Because home should feel like a place that welcomes you every time you walk in. Trap 1. Soft fabrics that hold the air of yesterday. There is something comforting about soft things. A blanket draped over a chair, a pillow resting near the television, curtains that have not moved in weeks. These objects bring warmth and peace to a home, but over time, they also collect the air around them. Smells settle into fabric the way dust settles onto shelves, not just from pets or food, but also from everyday living. The scent of lotion, soap, a cup of tea, even clean smells can begin to mix and turn into something heavier. This is one reason why a home can feel stale, even if everything appears spotless. The challenge is that soft fabrics rarely ask for attention. They sit quietly, looking fine. They do not show dirt like a messy floor or a smudged window. So it is easy to forget they need to breathe too, especially in homes where fresh air does not move freely, or when windows stay closed for long periods. The solution is not to wash everything at once. That is overwhelming. And it is not necessary. What helps most is creating a slow, steady habit of refreshing one fabric at a time. Choose one soft item each week. That could be the bathroom rug, a favorite throw, even the cushion cover on a kitchen chair. Remove it, shake it out, and if possible, leave it outside for a short while. Let it air out in sunlight or breeze. If it needs washing, do it gently. But even a quick fluff and a moment outdoors can make a difference. Another small habit is to lightly mist soft surfaces with a fabric-safe refresher once a week. There are unscented sprays that neutralize odor without adding fragrance. Some people use a very diluted vinegar and water solution. Others simply open the window and let the fabric breathe with the room. Pay attention to places where you often sit, nap, or lean. These are the places that quietly collect the air of yesterday. Freshening just one of them can shift the feel of an entire room. Smells do not always come from what is dirty. Sometimes they come from what is familiar. A blanket that has comforted you for months may also be the reason a room no longer feels new. That does not mean letting it go. It means letting it breathe. Trap 2. The entryway that traps more than shoes. The entrance to a home does not just welcome visitors. It also welcomes in the air from outside, the dirt from shoes, the weight of whatever day just ended. In many homes, the entryway becomes a small storage zone. Shoes are stacked near the door. Jackets hang on hooks. A table may hold keys, mail, or folded shopping bags. It all seems normal. But this little space carries more than it shows. Over time, the smell of the outdoors begins to settle here. Rain, pollen, cooking oil from nearby meals, even scents from the neighborhood drift in. If shoes are damp or jackets rarely washed, that scent grows heavier. And unlike larger rooms, the air in an entryway does not move much. It stays close, so even small smells start to concentrate. Many people do not think of this as a smell trap. It is just the place where we pass through. But that is exactly why it matters. The entryway sets the tone. It is the first breath of the home you take when you come in. If it smells stale, the rest of the house feels off before you even see it. There's a simple fix. Once a week, open the door wide for 5 minutes. Let outside air move through. Even in cold weather, this brief exchange helps. Then, gently wipe down the doorknob and door frame. Shake out the welcome mat. If you have a small rug, air it outside. If possible, wash it every few weeks. Another habit is to go through the entryway slowly once a week. Remove extra shoes. Sort any paper piles. Dust the surface of tables or shelves. This is not deep cleaning. It is resetting the space. You can even add a small open bowl of baking soda or a cotton ball with a drop of essential oil in the corner to gently absorb odors. This space is small, but it speaks loudly. You pass through it every day. Let it be fresh. Let it welcome you. Trap 3. The kitchen that quietly collects smells. A clean kitchen does not always smell clean. That is something many people quietly notice but rarely talk about. The counters are wiped. The dishes are put away. The trash is emptied. And still, something in the air feels thick, like a mixture of yesterday's meals and the steam of too many mornings. It is not a bad smell, but it is not fresh either. This happens more often in homes where cooking is regular and the space is cozy. When warm food is made often, the air absorbs what rises. Steam travels, oil floats, spices linger. Even when the stove is off, the memory of meals stays behind. But the real problem is not the food itself. It is the places the smell goes to hide. Smells do not settle on clean counters. They drift upward and outward. They collect on cabinet doors above the stove. They cling to the plastic buttons on the microwave. They sit quietly beneath the sink, near the trash bin, or behind small appliances. And over time, those quiet places begin to shape the feeling of the room. Most people clean their kitchens regularly, but they focus on what they see: the surface of the table, the inside of the fridge, the sink. The mistake is not noticing the edges, the details, the places that are touched often but cleaned rarely. The good news is, this does not require deep cleaning or harsh chemicals. The answer is to slow down and break it into parts, one small spot at a time, one quiet habit each day. On Monday, wipe the cabinet handles. Use a damp cloth and a little mild soap. On Tuesday, clean the outside of the microwave, especially the buttons. On Wednesday, spray and wipe the area behind the faucet where crumbs and watermarks hide. On Thursday, open the cabinet under the sink and wipe the walls inside. On Friday, check the top of the fridge. Dust it, even if it looks fine. On Saturday, lift the stove grates and clean underneath. On Sunday, rest or light a window breeze to let the air shift. Each action takes 5 minutes or less, but the feeling it creates lasts much longer. There is also value in fresh air. After cooking, open a window or the back door for 5 minutes, even in colder seasons. Letting air escape is not about comfort. It is about clearing what the eye cannot see. A fan on low can help, not to cool the room, but to help it breathe. If you enjoy candles or gentle scent sprays, use them with care. They can add a pleasant tone, but they should not cover something up. A room that smells like flowers but feels heavy is still a room in need of a breeze. The kitchen is the heart of many homes. It is where care is prepared, where stories are cooked, where memories rise in the air before we even eat. But a clean kitchen should also feel light. Not just clean to the eyes, but clean to the breath. Start small. Wipe one handle. Shake out one cloth. Open one window. Let the kitchen give back what it holds for you: freshness, comfort, and space to enjoy the next meal without the weight of the last one. Trap 4. The bathroom that smells clean, but doesn't feel it. Bathrooms are often the most regularly cleaned rooms in a home. The sink gets wiped. The toilet bowl is scrubbed. The mirror is polished. And yet, many people still notice something they cannot explain. A faint smell that remains, even after the bleach smell has faded. Not strong, not offensive, just lingering. This is one of the most common complaints from people who keep a clean home. They do everything they were taught to do, and still, the bathroom air feels heavy. Closed in. Stale. The reason has less to do with what is dirty and more to do with what is missed. Specifically, the areas around the toilet that most people never think to wipe. These are places that do not look messy, but quietly gather what the eye cannot see. When someone uses the toilet, especially when standing, tiny droplets can travel beyond the bowl. They reach the wall behind, the floor underneath, the edges of the base, even the side of the vanity or trash bin if it is placed too close. Over time, these invisible spots create a subtle layer of buildup, not just of smell, but of discomfort. You may not know what it is, but something about the room no longer feels fresh. This is what some people call the splash zone, and it is the hidden reason your bathroom might not smell the way you want it to. Thankfully, the solution is quiet and simple. Once a week, take a warm damp cloth and a little gentle cleaner. No need for bleach. Wipe the base of the toilet, all the way around. Wipe the floor beneath it. If you can, clean the wall behind it, especially if the toilet is close to the back wall. If there is a trash can nearby, move it and wipe under it. Lift the toilet lid and gently clean the hinges. You do not need gloves. You just need a little time and patience. For the sink area, pay special attention to the edges where water splashes and dries, the faucet base, the soap dish, the edge where the counter meets the wall. If you use a hand towel, make sure it is washed often. Damp fabric can hold onto old water, and soap smells more than we realize. Another helpful tip is to close the toilet lid before flushing. This keeps particles from becoming airborne. It also helps protect the rest of the room from collecting things that do not belong in the air. If your bathroom has a window, open it once a week, even for just a few minutes. Let the air move. If not, run a fan or leave the door cracked open after a shower. Fresh air is often the one step people forget, but it makes all the difference. You do not need a perfect bathroom, but you do deserve one that feels clean when you step inside. Not just because you cleaned the parts you can see, but because you remembered the quiet spaces that matter. Clean smell does not come from strong chemicals. It comes from noticing, from soft care, from the habit of wiping the edges, not just the center. Let your bathroom be a place where you breathe easier, where the air is light, where the room feels truly finished, not just after a scrub, but every time you walk in. Trap 5. The air that never moves. Sometimes the problem is not what is in the air. It is that the air is not going anywhere. You might walk into a room and nothing seems wrong. The space is clean. The floor is swept. Everything is in place. But something still feels heavy. The room feels still, closed, as if the air has been sitting there too long. This happens in many homes, especially when windows stay shut for days or weeks at a time. During hot summers or cold winters, it is common to keep everything sealed. Doors stay closed, curtains drawn. Air conditioning or heat becomes the only airflow. And while the temperature may feel comfortable, the air quality slowly begins to change. Without movement, the air in a room collects particles from cooking, from breathing, from clothing. Even clean homes build up moisture, scent, and invisible weight in the air. You may not smell it at first, but your body senses it. A room without airflow begins to feel tired, and that feeling follows you through your mood, your energy, and your sense of peace. The good news is that this is one of the easiest traps to reset. It does not involve any scrubbing, lifting, or products. All it takes is the habit of letting air move. Start with one small act. Choose one room in your home. Open the window, even just a crack. Let it breathe for 5 minutes. If it is cold outside, close the door to that room and let the air refresh on its own. If it is warm, you can open 2 windows on opposite sides of the house to let a breeze pass through. This creates gentle movement. You do not need a strong wind, just motion. If you cannot open windows, turn on a small fan in the corner. Not to cool the room, but to help the air shift. Let it run for a little while with the door open. This encourages circulation. It moves old air out and invites new air in, even if it is subtle. Some people use ceiling fans, but they are not always helpful if they just push air in circles. The goal is to create exchange, not just movement. Even placing a bowl of baking soda in a quiet corner can help absorb stillness in the air. A small indoor plant can do the same, gently filtering and refreshing the space around it. Fresh air is not just about scent. It changes how a room feels. It lightens the atmosphere. It reduces tension. It makes spaces feel more alive. You may even find yourself taking a deeper breath without realizing it. Try making this a weekly habit. Choose a time of day when things are quiet, maybe early morning or just after sunset. Open one window. Let it stay open for 5 minutes, then close it. That is enough. And if you enjoy the feeling, try it again in another room. Many people think they need candles or sprays to make a home smell good. But sometimes, what a home really needs is to exhale. Let your rooms breathe again. Let your home feel like it is in motion, even when everything else is still. Trap 6, the trash that's gone, but leaves something behind. Taking out the trash is one of the most regular chores in any home. It is simple, quick, and often part of a daily or weekly routine. And yet, many people still notice a faint odor near the trash bin, even when it is empty. You lift the lid and expect nothing. But something is there. A smell that does not belong. A scent that feels stuck. This is one of the most common hidden traps in clean homes. The trash has been removed, but its memory remains. This happens because trash bins, especially those used for kitchen waste, slowly collect residue. A leaky bag, moisture from food, grease that touched the sides. Over time, those small traces build up in the bottom of the bin, around the lid, and even on the floor beneath it. The problem is not just in the bin itself. It is in the area around it. The wall next to the bin, the floor underneath, the cabinet door that may get touched with messy hands. These quiet zones absorb scent. And even when the bin is empty, the smell stays behind. Luckily, this is one of the easiest traps to fix, gently and without any heavy work. First, focus on the inside of the bin. Once a week, after taking out the trash, wipe the inside with a cloth or paper towel dampened with warm, soapy water. You do not need bleach. A mild cleaner is enough. Pay attention to the bottom and the edges. Let the bin dry before putting in a new bag. Next, look at the lid. Many trash cans have grooves, hinges, or textured surfaces that can trap food splashes or grease. Wipe these gently. If the lid is removable, take it off and rinse it in the sink. Then check the floor underneath. Move the bin aside and wipe that spot. It often gets overlooked, but it can be the source of lingering odor, especially if something spilled. To help between cleanings, you can sprinkle a small amount of baking soda into the bottom of the bin before adding a new liner. Some people place a cotton ball with a drop of lemon or lavender essential oil under the liner as well. These small steps absorb odor instead of masking it. It also helps to avoid overfilling the trash. When bags sit too long, especially in warm weather, smells intensify. Try to remove kitchen trash before it reaches the very top. A smaller, more frequent bag is easier to manage and keeps the area fresher. And if your bin is in a cabinet or enclosed space, open the door for a few minutes after removing the trash. Let air move through. Even a few minutes of fresh air can reset the space. The key here is not deep cleaning. It is awareness. Trash is something we remove quickly, but the space around it needs just as much attention, in small, simple ways. You should never feel like your kitchen smells off, even when the trash is out. That is a sign the scent did not leave with the garbage. It stayed with the container. Give it a little care. Not all at once. Just a few minutes each week. A cloth, a wipe, a breath of fresh air. That is all it takes to make this trap disappear and to help your kitchen feel light and clean once again. Trap 7. Quiet machines that whisper back. There are machines in every home that work hard for us. They clean, circulate, wash, or help us cook. They are helpful, quiet, and often automatic. But sometimes they give something back we do not expect. A faint, sour smell that lingers long after the job is done. You may have walked past the laundry room and smelled damp air, or opened the dishwasher and caught a strange scent. Perhaps you vacuumed the carpet, but the room still smells dusty afterward. The reason is not the air. It is the machine. Appliances like washing machines, dishwashers, vacuum cleaners, and even air purifiers can become hidden smell traps. Over time, moisture, food particles, dust, and lint build up inside them. These machines are designed to remove things, dirt, odor, and debris. But if they are not cleaned gently and regularly, they begin to hold on to the very things they are meant to get rid of. Take the washing machine, for example. If the rubber seal around the door is never wiped, it collects mildew and old detergent. The drum may stay wet between cycles, especially with front-load models. Even if your clothes come out clean, the machine may start to smell musty. Or the dishwasher. Bits of food can stick in the filter at the bottom, where it is dark and damp. After a few weeks, it can create an odor that rises every time the door is opened. You might think the smell is in the kitchen, but it is coming from inside the machine. Vacuums can be the same. If the filter is full or the inside is dusty, it pushes that air back into the room with every use. The house may look clean, but the scent feels off. So, what can be done? Gently and without stress. Pick one machine per week. Give it just a few minutes of soft care. For the washing machine, wipe the rubber seal with a damp cloth. Once a month, run an empty cycle with warm water and a cup of white vinegar. Leave the door open after each load to let it air dry. For the dishwasher, remove and rinse the filter once a week. Wipe the edges of the door and the rubber lining. You can also run a cycle with no dishes, using vinegar in a small bowl on the top rack. For vacuums, empty the canister regularly. Take out the filter and tap it gently outside, or rinse it if the model allows. Clean the brush rollers and check for buildup around the base. If you use air purifiers or fans, clean their filters as recommended. Even ceiling fans can collect dust that slowly changes the smell of a room as they spin. None of this needs to happen all at once. One machine, 1 week. That is enough. These are tools that serve you. Let them serve you well, and keep your home smelling like the peaceful place it truly is. A home should smell like safety, not like memories that have settled too long. The spaces we love most can sometimes hold on to air that feels heavy, but that does not mean anything is wrong. It simply means they need to breathe, not just like we do. These 7 smell traps are not signs of failure. They are quiet corners asking for a little attention. And the good news is, every one of them can be gently refreshed with time, care, and calm. You do not need to fix everything today. Just notice one thing. Wipe one handle, open one window, rinse one filter. That is enough. Bit by bit, your home becomes lighter, fresher, more alive, and so do you. Let each breath you take inside your home remind you, you are still in charge of the way your space feels, and you still deserve to live in a place that feels clean, calm, and completely yours.